Hello everyone. God, I remember how I hate this.
Right guys, welcome to episode 8 of Sauna Diaries. My name's George. This is my sauna over here, but we're starting with the ice bath today because we've got a special guest with me. But first I'm going to do 2 minutes in the ice bath and then my friend will as well. Right, that's my 2 minutes done. My first guest to this podcast video series, former rugby player for the Harlequins, Charlie Mulchrone.
Oh wow. Hello everyone. God, I remember how I hate this. Oh, do me this.
Right, we're off to the sauna. I done 2 minutes. The athlete here only done 40 seconds, but we're getting back in soon anyway. But first, we've just got to give each other some hats. Do you know what these are?
You'll have to explain these to me.
Yeah. So these hats are they're like Scandi hats, so you can stay in here longer because your head's your thermostat.
Interesting.
So you keep this on. It keeps you cooler in your mind, so you can stay in here longer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea. So
See how it goes.
we're going to talk about 3 things with Charlie. We're going to talk about his route into becoming a rugby player, how he dealt with retirement, and also his mindset during concussion and time off. So, Charlie, your route to the Harlequins was a lot different from the average person.
Yeah, it was slightly more unconventional. Most people in professional rugby now will come through a school and then like an academy system.
Mm-hmm.
And like football, it's not as bad, but you probably get picked up from the age of like 14, 15 into an academy.
Okay.
And then you'll go all the way through, you'll finish school, and if you're good enough, you'll get a senior academy contract, which is kind of a prerequisite to a full professional one.
Yeah.
But I never got any of those things. I was 23 when I first got into professional rugby.
Okay.
Me and my brother got a chance at a club called Rotherham, who were in the championship, so like the second division, and the pay was terrible. I think I was on 11 grand for the year.
Okay.
But it was a chance, and then from there I got picked up by a club further up that was Worcester, and then from Worcester got picked up by Quins. So like I slowly climbed throughout the ranks rather than just being at the elite level the whole time.
At any point during when you was like climbing the ranks, you must have seen like other people sort of like get their contracts a lot younger. And was that ever like the case? Did you ever think during that time that maybe it wasn't going to happen?
I suppose I'd never thought that because I'd never was desperate to be a rugby player. Like I know kids will grow up going, I really want to play rugby, or that's what I want to do as a job. I was a bit more realistic in that it hadn't happened when I was younger. I was never like, oh, I really want to be a rugby player. I just sort of like took it as it came. So when I got a professional contract, I thought it was awesome, but I didn't expect it to be a full career out of it, if you see what I mean. Yeah. So it was kind of like a bonus, if anything, that I got to 33 having never had a proper job, as I'd call it. But the second part, I was actually slightly disappointed when I got to Quins, because like Worcester, even though we're like a lower team, and we just got promoted to the Prem, was far more professional than Quins. Quins at that time was a bit haphazard all over the place in terms of like facilities and management. Like the guy who signed me had just left to go to Italy, so it was a bit all over the place. And like the quality of training stuff, I was a bit like, well, this isn't actually what I thought it was. And it turned out in the long run to be great, but at the time I was a bit like, what have I actually signed up for here?
Now the hard work begins.
Yeah.
These clubs are in London, but you're from Manchester.
I say Manchester tentatively because it's just easy for everyone to locate. I'm from Wilmslow in Cheshire, which is actually quite posh for the north.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've slowly worked my way down south, so like from there to Sheffield to Worcester to London, where I've been for like 11, 12 years now or something.
But with Harlequins, when you first got picked up, what was that like? Was that just sort of, did you think maybe that was the easy work done and now it's the hard work?
So it's kind of 2 parts to that. When they called, I was just like, Dad, I've made it type thing. It was like unbelievable, like one of the biggest clubs, and you're like buzzing that you get the contract. Plus, like me and Charlotte were just starting to see each other, and she was in London, so it was like a dream scenario. Like I moved down to London closer to her, not long distance. Right,
just had to let the phone call down, so we're back. So I was just talking to Charlie about how his progression through the grassroots rugby and how when he finally got his professional contract. But I want to ask him about any point during that time, did he stumble across any sort of like hurdles and how he overcome them?
Yeah, so probably the big hurdle was about 4 or 5 months into my first season as a full pro. I hadn't played 1 minute of rugby. And I was asking the coach if I could go back to my old club and just to play and kind of accepting it wasn't going to happen. And then he got fired the week later for some off-field stuff. But the next coach then backed me and I got to play a bit and ended up getting player of the year that year. So it's such a small turn of events that had such a big impact on my whole career. But whether that's a message to keep persevering or sometimes you just need some blind luck.
No, I think it's probably a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I think the determination just to keep going when the odds are against you, especially when you see other people around you maybe sort of getting out at a younger age, but you just keep going. It was pretty a good feeling.
It was tough watching, I think 6 lads went off that year to play in the Prem. So
your mindset just to carry on must have been just,
Yeah, well I think at that point I was really enjoying it when I started playing, so I didn't really care about not getting picked up. I was like, I'm actually enjoying this.
Just playing.
Whereas before I was hating it because I wasn't, and I would have happily gone back to working in a supermarket and just playing, but it's just funny the way things happen.
What I want to ask Charlie about was that during his playing career at Harlequins, he got concussion 3 times, which in rugby terms is a bit of a red cross, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it was 3 times in 1 season, which was the real red flag.
Yeah, red flag.
Yeah, not enjoyable, mainly because you spend a lot of time isolated from the rest of the team.
Okay. What they make you train?
Separately. Because the team sessions are designed for the team ready for the weekend. So you end up going on a bit of a different program, and it's hard to get the crossover between the two. Okay. So your weights are done at a different time. You eat generally at the same time, but you're in at a different schedule. You see the physios whilst the lads are out training. So you do feel kind of isolated. But yeah, and then the other side of concussion, obviously, when it happens, it's a pretty horrible feeling, and then things like lights start affecting you, music starts affecting you.
So I know in football, if you get concussion, you've got to have a certain amount of games off.
Sure.
I think this only in the last few years you've done this, but then do you have to have a certain amount of time off, a certain amount of games before?
Now it's great. I've kind of straddled the line between not amateur because it was professional, but the protocols then were not what they are now.
Yeah.
So now if you get concussed, you're instantly a week off. If you've had prior concussions, instantly 2 weeks off. Whereas before it was kind of, if you pass this test, you're all right to play. Yeah. Okay. Which is an arbitrary test.
But what year was it that you got the first one?
Oh, I've had quite a few throughout my career. Yeah. Consistently. I'd say I'm probably above average the amount throughout the career. And obviously, there's stuff going on at the moment in the media with loads of players who are suing the RFU because they've had multiple concussions that have affected the life, some with Alzheimer's, onset dementia, things like that. So it is kind of scary.
Same with football with heading and stuff, but obviously
but it's not nice, but it kind of coincided with the end of my playing career as those 3 concussions. So
Well, what we do, we're going to carry on talking about that. But me and Charlie have been in the sauna at 105 degrees for nearly 20 minutes now, so we're going to jump back into the ice bath separately, and then we'll be back. Clock watching. Nice work. Right. Oh, we're a bit blurry. There we go. Steaming up. So me and Charlie just done the ice bath again, so let's try and do a bit there. Scoop it this way a little bit. There we go. So, God, it is steaming up. Fuck it, that'll do. Yeah, we're both done. Charlie done a bit longer. He done 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and I've done the same. So, but what we was talking about just before was throughout his career, Charlie got multiple concussions, which I want to say forced. He weren't forced. Pushed. To retirement.
For early retirement, yeah. So as we spoke about, having 3 in 1 year is never a good thing. And at that time, my contract was coming to an end, and I had a few options to play elsewhere, but it would mean moving. And the coach at the time thought I'd make a good coach, and so offered me a coaching contract. And so like the combination of the two, the concussion, the not having to move, trying something that might have a bit more longevity in it.
Okay.
Decided to go for it. So did that for 4 years, really enjoyed it, but it was never something I wanted to do long term.
Okay. Was you a player coach for a while? Was that...
No, I literally went from playing a week off and then coaching, which is quite interesting in itself.
Okay.
Because your relationships with people change quite quickly.
Really?
But yeah, no, I did that for 4 years and really enjoyed it. So it wasn't enforced retirement, but it was kind of jump off this cliff before you pushed.
What I know of when people, the sportsmen go have early retirement, or when anyone retires, there's always that difficult period afterwards of, you know, do you miss it? Maybe the first few months that you think this is great, oh wow, I don't have to do all this training or games, but then, you know, most of the time that's in the off season, and then pre-season starts, and then you start to feel like you're missing it. Like maybe like the camaraderie of being sort of like with the group of lads or the team. You know, how did you find like the first? You were coaching, but so
yeah.
Was it still a very mixed? Like your thoughts, like did you find it difficult?
Yeah, you basically hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
The first few bits were fine because I had two kind of retirements, one from playing and one from rugby completely, and they were both similar. It's like, oh, this is great, think of all the other things you can be doing, and you try and convince yourself of that, because obviously you don't want to just be moping around all day. But you do then get I miss out on the camaraderie, the lifestyle, the fact you're not working, you're just doing your hobby, and it's awesome. But it comes for everyone at some point, and it's not just, I mean, athletes do have it, but everyone in life, like a job you might miss out on, or a big change in your career, and they're just hard times to get through. But I suppose I was really lucky the support system I had around me with my wife and family. But yeah, I had some tough times, but
you got through it.
I got through it okay, and you know, everyone goes through it at some point, and I consider myself kind of lucky that mine wasn't too bad at all.
Right, we're just finishing up here, me and Charlie, so I just want to say thank you to Charlie for coming on. But lastly, I just want to get your thoughts on your experience being the very first guest on this hopefully to be successful podcast video series that I'm trying to do. My phone is still playing ball, to see how far we go. But yeah, just your experience of sort of like the ice bath and in the sauna today, you know, in the quickest ways possible.
Loved it. Not often I get to do the ice bath and the hot contrast, so like really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed chatting, and to any other guests, like it's a good podcast, get on it.
Cheers guys, see you soon.